I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching another episode of I have no idea what's going on, but I'm enjoying it anyway.
Is that the show title? That's a brilliant show title.
Yeah, Attack on Titan, Season 1, Episode 9. Last episode, too much happened. Okay, I'm going to try to start from, the top chronologically,
that should have been a movie.
Yeah, honestly. We met Petra and got to see Levi, and he is crazy skilled seemingly with the ODM gear because he just watching this camera movement and stuff and camera work while he was slaughtering these titans and making them feel pain. It was insane.
The eyeball gouge out.
It was a joy to watch. I have Armin reminds me of Tails from Sonic. And there's the girl with glasses who wants to see an abnormal, and then she straight up lied to a Titan and was like, don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you, and then killed it. And then our main cast have been, I guess, cornered against a wall, and they were about to be killed, seemingly, and Mikasa said, come on, let's get together, we're going to go over the wall, we're going to escape. But it seemed like it was too late, and Eren had the wildest flashback I can't even put into words how ridiculous that was, crazy and out of nowhere.
Fever dream, it was craziness. It was another level.
To that, episode 3 or 4 or something, when we first got the little piece of.
I feel like it was actually even episode 2.
I think it was episode 2, and the first flashback we got of him with his dad, riding in some carriage or something like that away from somewhere, and we had so many questions about it. Now I have even more questions about it because he injected Eren with something and said that he needed to use this, what he was being injected with, to be able to get back to the basement and use the key, and that their memories will tell you how to use it, the power, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe how to master it, because seemingly right now, my theory was that he couldn't fully transform into the, what did you call him, the pomegranate titan?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah. That he maybe couldn't fully transform because he was so exhausted. Maybe it's a thing you need to build up your stamina for, and he needs to master that somehow, and that's why he couldn't fully. I mean, it worked out that he transformed into something that was almost like a shield, just with the rib cage. So that worked out to be able to protect Armin and Mikasa. But I was full on expecting him to fully become the pomegranate titan and grab the two of them and start running at full speed towards the basement. But that's not what happened.
Yeah, I don't know what level of consciousness he has in the form. Because it, when he was, I guess, conscious again in his, normal, regular form, he doesn't seem like he remembered anything that transpired, right?
Didn't he have weren't we hearing some of his thoughts while he was transformed? At least he doesn't, I think what we're thinking is that he just doesn't remember what transpires once he comes out of it.
Yeah.
But that, I think we did get hinted at some level of awareness while he was in that form to what he was doing. It's just interesting. I don't know how he's going to get out of this. Obviously, they have literal cannons and weapons pointed at them.
Can you just infinitely do it?
Infinitely turn into the ribcage?
Yeah. Keep blocking the shots.
But wouldn't eventually the single soldiers start closing in on them maybe?
Maybe I'm
not sure. They're literally in a corner right now. I'm how are they going to? I feel like some person. I'm wondering if his dad is going to enter the scene or something and be
we don't know where his dad is.
We don't know where his dad is, but maybe his dad's we know he's an important doctor, but maybe he's higher up in importance than we think he might be. And maybe he could give a wave of approval to them not killing Eren.
That's a good idea, actually. I could see that happening.
So, or maybe he'll be I'll experiment on my boy or something so we know what is up.
Could you, if Eren's able to do this at will, could he um spawn an infinite number of bones and rib cages, and then you could like make
That's a
weapons
really.
out of
Could
them.
he change his form?
Bone City. It's blood, right? I'm gonna guess that he has to bleed for this to occur.
Yeah, because the giant arm grew out of his stub.
It wasn't just paint, like you saw him bite into himself and then blood like came out of where he bit and then lightning struck or occurred. I don't even know, man.
Whenever I see characters in anything inflicting damage upon themselves to that extent, I'm like, how could you even, like, I don't know, I couldn't. But then again, I'm not in like dire situations with cannons pointed at me, so I could probably do it then. I hope so.
I don't really know where we're gonna go from here. I think that the scouts are coming back.
Yeah.
Because
do you think they're gonna stop the situation?
I don't know why the hell they would. You know what I mean? Who's the other guy? Commander Irwin told Captain Levi to come back.
You know who would want to stop it? Glasses Girl.
Glasses
Girl.
Nah.
I just thought about that. She loves abnormals.
Would she?
And if she finds out that there's a person that they're about to kill that could turn into a Titan, she is going to do whatever she can to be able to experiment on Eren.
I think I mentioned that in last episode's discussion, like them potentially meeting at some point. But for her, like she would have had to be there, or had to have been there for a while to see this occur, right? She would have had to seen that occur, or I don't know.
I mean, they seem very, I don't know if high up's the right word, but they seem very important, and maybe, like, Levi will be told about the situation. Like, they'll happen upon what's happening and, be kind of filled in, and maybe they'll stop it. I'm not
I
sure.
don't know, man. I think, like Levi from what we got last episode, I said he reminded me like of how he was talking about wanting to kill all of them. The like similarities of passion in his voice reminded me to Eren's voice. So I'm like, why would Levi want any of that? Why would he want, like, he would be like, kill this thing, I hate all Titans, right? And Levi, it's not Levi's word though, right? It's Commander Irwin's word.
Yeah. He was blonde.
Yeah, he is blonde.
He is, yes. That I didn't even remember his name. I just remembered that there was an older blonde gentleman that was involved.
Maybe Commander Pixies or Pixis, or please correct me again in the comments, will come. We have not seen him since that little that little interaction, right?
Yeah. All I know is the commanding officer that's there right now, that's directing this attack on Eren. I despise his character.
He sucks.
I haven't liked him from like the other 2 times that we've seen him on screen. He always just seems like he's like terrified and like has zero courage, but then he's like doing actions. It's like his body is moving even though his mind is like screaming. That's how he appears to me. Yes.
Obviously, it's easy to judge at our desk talking into a microphone.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would act in this fantasy world if I was met with that situation. That being said, fuck that guy and I hope he dies.
You're so right. Whenever I bring up something judgmental of how a character, how can they do that, or how could they inflict damage upon themselves, and then I just have to remind myself that I am nowhere close to their predicament and I can't even relate.
Yeah, I can't relate, but fuck that guy and I hope he dies. Other than that though, let's just see what happens, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Sweet. Same intro.
I guess we're getting it. Is this another part of the same?
Of the war?
It was like Battle for Trost. I still can't get over those numbers. Losing 20% of the population.
I can't imagine how the people in universe feel, because those numbers sound defeating to me, and I'm not even in it, you know?
Yeah.
In that little scene we just saw where Eren was looking down in despair, Armin was, and then Mikasa was had an eye on Eren, watching him. Battle for Trost 6.
Is this how like everything's laid out for these shows?
Maybe.
Like this. How he just moved up his wrist was so interesting.
仲間が目の前で食われた。仲間が食い殺されたのに、心底俺じゃなくてよかったって思った。俺たちの仕事ってのは、つまりは巨人に食われるまで戦わされ続けるってことなんだろう。きついわ。やめろ。しっかりしろよ。お前だけじゃないんだぞ。サシャを見ろ。あんな目にあってもなお、気高き兵士のままだ。
お腹痛いんで負傷者にしてもらっていいですか。
観光令は
Was that him?
That was the
Yeah.
flashbacks too, right? That was a really cool like way to show
What's
the
happening
timing,
on the
yeah.
other side of the wall, you know?
あの煙の量は何だ。まさか巨人の蒸気。おいおい。
Are the ones that know going?
I think so. I think they know what it is, you know?
Oh my gosh. Are they gonna try to protect Aaron too?
That looked like roots or some...
It's like the sinews, I think.
Where's Aaron? Is he in the back of the neck again? Interesting.
Oh. Like
Imagery.
pieces of fragments of bone. Is the head falling off?
Oh my god, I thought it was just kind of falling apart. It is alive, yeah? Is he controlling it?
俺たちに一段装填させろ。
Oh my god. Look at him hugging onto it.
When he was moving his eyes under his eyelids, its eyes were moving.
砲声が聞こえたところまでは覚えてる。レンが私たちを守った。今はそれだけ理解できればいい。内側にだけ。大丈夫かお前ら。これは
わからん。まだ様子を伺ってんのか放心してんのか。最終的には攻撃を続行するだろう。
What do you do?
Run away while the steam's hiding them?
That's a good idea.
ただ一つだけ思う。
Goddamn key.
地下室だ。そこに行けば全てわかるって親父が言ってた。地下室に行けばおそらく巨人の正体もわかるんだ。
I sure hope so, because I
What the
want to
Titans
know.
really are.
なんで隠した。その情報は何千人もの調査兵団が命を落としても求め続けた。俺んちの地下室に大事にしまっていたっていうのか。何考えてんだ一体。
How does he know? Like,
俺たちを5年もほっといてどこで。
エレン、
good question.
今は他にすべきことがある。
God, I feel like Aaron right now.
Yeah.
ここを離れる。どうやって。とりあえずどこでもいい。もう一度巨人になってからな。そんなことができるの。どうやってるのかわからん。でもできるって思うんだ。自分の腕を動かしているのか説明できないようにな。無意識に砲弾を防ぐことだけを考えた。それ以上の機能も持続力もなく朽ちたんだ。
Is it like an avatar state? Like, was it their quote unquote memories that made him do it?
エレン、
He's bleeding.
鼻血が。顔色もひどいし、呼吸も荒い。明らかに体に異常をきたしている。
俺に考えが2つある。俺はここから単独で動こうと思う。
僕はエレン、私も行く。
ダメだ。
私が追いつけなければ私に構う必要はない。
俺はお前の弟でも子供でもねえぞ。
I like, did you see on the screen it says information we can share so far?
Yeah.
次の攻撃をいかがいたしましょう。
私の合図があるまで待て。
駐屯兵団が白兵戦を仕掛けてくる気配はない。
Is he thinking of a plan, maybe?
さすが野良猫よりも早く察知しているだろう。短時間で砲弾が装填されたとして、あと20秒ほどかかるだろうか。
Some Shikamaru shit.
どうしてこんな時に思い出す。僕たちの最後だから、臆病者以外の何かにはなれなかった。
I don't know, because remember when Mikasa said Armin has saved them countless times? Like when they were... Eren almost got into a fight getting food in like the second episode. Armin's the one who stepped up and like calmed the situation down.
He doesn't realize his own value that they already can see.
I don't think we knew Mikasa read from the book.
待てよミカさん、考えは2つあるって言っただろう。アルミン、あとはお前の判断に任せる。今の話が現実性を書いていることは分かっている。アルミンがもしここで俺は脅威じゃないってことを駐屯兵団に
Just like you brought up the example of him calming the situation with the food.
信じてそれに従う。これが2つ目の考えだ。さっきの最終手段に出る。
Pressure though.
20 seconds, right? 15.
俺はどっちでもお前の意見を尊重する。
How they can use it strategically is what he said, right?
手やばい時ほどどの行動が正解か当てることができただろう。
Yeah.
頼りたいと思ったからだ。
Dude, look at Eren. He looks so dead.
5年前なんかお前がハンネスさんを呼んでくれなかったら俺もミカサも巨人に食われて死んでた。
And his idea with them going down in the elevator
Yeah.
in the HQ. That's a moment. That's a character moment right there. Only I thought I was useless.
そんなこと思ってなかったのに。僕に命を預けると言っている二人は、僕がこの世でこれ以上の説得力がどこにある？必ず説得してみせる。抵抗の意志がないことを示してくれ。
Look those steps.
になって戦っていた時からまだ考えがまとまってないけどやってやる。喋りながらでも考える。
止まれ！
彼は人類の敵ではありません。知り得た情報のすべてを開示する意志があります。
命乞いに貸す耳はない。奴が敵でないというのなら証拠を出せ。それができなければ危険を排除する。
How are you gonna prove it?
証拠は必要ありません。そうだ、必要ないか問題ではないのです。
なんだと？
大勢の者が彼を見たと聞きました。巨人と戦う姿も見たはずです。つまり巨人は彼のことを我々人類と同じ。我々がいくら知恵を絞ろうともこの事実だけは動きません。
They were eating him.
And he kept fighting them.
巨人が味方？そんなバカな。
Imagine the possibilities. Come on, like that's an ace in the hole.
Fuck this guy, man.
巧妙な罠に惑わされるな。奴らの行動は常に我々の理解を超える。人間の言葉を弄し、我々を欺くことも可能というわけだ。好きにさせてはならない。
考えることを放棄してる。考えることが怖いん
He's
だ。
scared. He's ruled by his fear.
They just trust him. Just blind faith. Oh my god.
私は永遠に心臓を捧げると誓った兵士。その信念に従った末に命が果てるのなら本望。残存する兵力が組み合わさればこの町の奪還も不可能ではありません。願い、これから死にゆく全てもの間にあの戦術価値を解きます。
I have chills.
Me
man.
too. Did you hear that voice acting?
物は排除する。それが兵士たる者の務めだ。
He's so blinded right now.
予算か。
Who is it?
Yes! It's Pixies! Pixis, whatever!
ピクシス司令。お前にはあの者の見事な敬礼が見えんのか。
I knew I loved that guy.
エウまで伝わっておる。わしはあの者らの話を聞いた方がいい気がする。
Interesting.
I was getting so worried that Armin was gonna have anything to like bring to the table. Like we haven't seen anything close to what that was.
We've seen hints of the possibility of that happening, but
Nothing like
nothing
that.
like that amazing. I'm curious why they're all so like varying in size.
Dot Pixies.
する最高責任者であり
High Commander, is that what he
人類
said?
の最重要
Absolute authority over the defense of humanity's most important region. So he is the big wig.
超絶美女の巨人になら食われてもいいんだがの
で生来の変人としても知られている
I mean, that's what you needed to be able to say not to kill Eren, right? An eccentric.
司令の考えは常に常人の理解の外にありますから
They're all dejected.
その地下室に行けば全てわかるとはい物事の真意を見極める程度のことはできるつもりじゃうちはわしが保証しようお主は先ほど巨人の力とやらを使えばこの町の奪還も可能だと申したな
Does he have an actual plan?
それとも苦し紛れの命乞いか
両方ですあの時僕が言おうとしたことは巨人になったエレンがあの大岩を運んで破壊された扉を塞ぐということでしたただ単純に思いついただけですが
That would require so much consciousness in Eren's part when he turns into it.
Yep.
助かりたい一心でしたが
助かりたい一心何より信用できる言葉だ
Armin is top tier. I love him.
This completely like flipped my opinion of him this episode.
穴を塞ぐことができるか
どうでしょうか今の自分に分かることなんて自分はここでできるにしろできないにしろ
ああそうじゃのすまんかった質問を間違えてしもうたわお主はやるのかやらんのか
Love
どっ
it.
ちだ
I love this guy too.
The
His
soundtrack
wording.
is so cool too.
His
You're right.
language is amazing. I love exactly what he says.
The same instrument that's like a melody that's playing now is kind of the same like mid roll tune that's played. It's so nice.
やりますやりますわかりませんでもやります
They get that sealed, they kill the titans that are inside that controlled area. Bing. Bam. Boom.
Back to the discussion. Okay, that was Attack on Titan Season 1, Episode 10. That was a really good episode, and I said it in the reaction, but I was getting very scared that I wasn't going to have any feelings of like towards Armin. I was getting worried that he was not going to be on tier with Eren and Mikasa, because we've seen firsthand like before Eren did the Titan stuff, like he still had this will about him, his quick learning, his quick like thinking, you know. Mikasa has her like stoic beliefs, I guess, in defense of Eren, but also like her abilities are top tier. I was very, very worried that Armin was gonna fall behind as a character completely, and this episode has completely changed that. The voice acting was phenomenal, too.
I think what's important to note is that Armin already had his biggest moment of realizing that he needed to have a voice and be able to move and quick think and realize. I think he realized deep down already that he could be useful. It's just he wasn't bringing it out. And I think his moment of like this really starting to become this process of him and his character growing obviously initiated with his lack of movement when Eren ended up kind of throwing him out of the Titan's mouth and replacing him in that instance. And then how paralyzed he was after the fact, to the point where when he answered to Mikasa, she then jumped into action as he was behind. And I think that that moment was like, it took what happened when they were kids, where they would jump in because he was either too scared to move or too unable to get himself to act, that they jumped in front of him. And I think that this was like the biggest parallel to those childlike actions that was obviously huge for him because it was so emotional. But he's given us little nuggets all the way through. And obviously he wasn't talked bad about when they were in the cadets, you know?
Mm-mm.
He had points that were good about him and good as a cadet and for his success in the future with, you know, being on the scouts or something. It's not like he was holding them back in terms of, I mean, he was holding them back maybe in terms of like raw physical ability, but he outweighed that with the strategic thinking that was noted by everyone. I think he was noticed for that, and I think he was the only one, and I think he even said, I think my favorite line was, "Only I thought I was useless."
Yes, I was
And
just
that
about to bring that up.
was pinnacle of this episode. I wrote it down as I was looking. I was like scribbling it. That was amazing.
To have that realization in that moment, and like hearing him think it through, and then immediately strut forward with those confident shots of like his boots walking.
I love the sound. It was like
unstrap
really
all the
walking.
gear, and then when he put his like hand, oh my god, man.
It's like, think of the power that was just unleashed to realize that you're the one that's been shackling yourself this whole time. It was always you. You were never actually useless. You were never actually weak. People weren't looking down on you or feeling like you were a burden. You were making yourself feel that way.
I am so glad that he had the moment that he did, because if they went with option one, I think in the back of my mind I'd be like, okay, well, what's Armin like here really for? Like, where's his part, you know?
Yeah, like we know that he has strategic, quick thinking and deduction. You know, we know that he has that, and he's utilized it. Not in I can't even say it's a minor sense, because obviously he was able to help take back HQ and save a lot of lives.
Yeah.
So it's not like it was minor at all. That was a big deal. But this was
a different degree.
This was a different degree. This was like, I just I love that was an option that Eren thought of as soon as he
that makes
brought
it so much better.
Like
too.
the way that both Mikasa and Eren actually look at Armin. Like, Armin's character makes you like think during the whole first couple episodes that maybe they also look at him as a burden, and that's like, it makes the viewer forget to pay attention to how their facial expressions are drawn and what are the actual words they're saying to him, because you follow this narrative that Armin is painting for himself. And then this episode makes you just want to go back and rewatch all of their interactions up to this moment to realize, like, Mikasa was never babying Armin, like, at that time when they were on the roof and Mikasa was just saved by Eren in Pomegranate Titan form. She wasn't babying him. She was gonna protect him, yes, but not necessarily because... It was mainly because they needed to replace the gear. The gear was why. It wasn't because Armin himself doesn't have the potential or the ability to be useful, or... It's just, in that instance, the practicality was that Mikasa was faster and better with the gear, and they needed to replace her gear.
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't going to let him die, and it wasn't because he was a burden and she needed to, oh, I'm not going to let you die, don't worry, I'll protect you. It was like a, dude, I'm not going to let you die, like, we're comrades. You gave me your gear, thanks. It's just interesting.
It is. And when Armin, like, he gave his plea and it didn't work, and then he said, like, he's not even trying to think, you know?
Which
he
is...
looked back.
Ooh.
He looked back so defeated and like, oh my god, I ruined it. Like, that, I failed. And then just met with the reassuring looks of Eren and Mikasa, which is... Ugh.
But what you just said was awesome, too. Because who also said that they weren't trying to think in that instance as well? The commander.
Yeah.
Think about that. They were in a conversation, in a conflict with each other, and the fact of not thinking because of fear or not thinking because you don't have time for it and you need to make quick decisions and you need to make the quick right decisions.
Yeah.
But obviously the commander wasn't thinking anything, even making quick right decisions. He was just like, I need to just follow the rules. He was down to the basics in his brain of just the rules. That's all he was thinking of.
I didn't like it seemed like the whole point of him being like, well, show us proof, like show us what, like there's nothing that could have been shown.
I know. I was
Like-
trying to think of things that Armin could say or what could be shown that would have that guy stop. And I think that's why I don't think it would have stopped.
No.
I don't think that character had it in him to not just try to eradicate Eren.
I agree. I don't think there was any going back, any changing.
No.
Okay. We've been gushing about Armin for the past 5 minutes.
I mean, it's valid.
It's
and
completely
true, so
valid, and
I don't regret it.
I'm probably gonna talk more about it in a couple minutes. But to go over some of the other stuff in this episode, Eren is 100% convinced that the answers to what the Titans really are, is what he said, are in the basement. He is questioning why his dad would have kept them secret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he brought up
And-
why wouldn't he have shared this information? Why would this be a secret?
Which is a goddamn great question.
Yeah.
And that he has been gone for 5 years.
It's like a loyalty test. Like Eren's trying to realize, does he actually trust his own father?
Did Eren already F up by telling Pixies? Like,
I really hope not.
I trust him, of course. He's daddy. But I don't know if, like, obviously there's a reason, maybe, or, like, whether it's valid or not, there is seemingly a reason that Eren's dad hasn't shown what's in the basement to other people. Right?
That's a good point.
I
mean, you could be totally right that this character might end up being a betrayal character.
I don't think he would be, but I'm nervous that he tells some higher up, and then the higher ups would be like, "Oh, we knew something like this was gonna happen," or like this guy was, you know, why haven't we seen him in 5 years? Was he on the run? Is he being chased?
It's a good point, but this character is the perfect example of a person who doesn't really care about flattery of the nobility.
Yeah.
So would he really go and tattle to people he didn't believe would treat it the way that he thinks it should be treated?
That's true.
Is he gonna keep it? I mean, I guess they can't really keep it under wraps because so many people saw it.
No, just not the fact
Whatever's
that
in the basement?
the fact that there's something in the basement. You know?
I think this guy has been around for a while, and I think he knows some shady stuff, and I think he knows probably who can be trusted, and I think he knows that he doesn't really give a flying hoot about what the nobility think or what's best for them.
Yeah.
I think he's the perfect, possibly. I mean, obviously he could turn into a betrayal character.
I don't think he will.
But at the moment, they've painted him as kind of the perfect upper commander to be the one to realize this information.
I don't know, like, what could it be? Like, if it was something as, like, simple as, like, this is their one weakness, this type of, like, you know, this type of metal to cut them with, or this type of, like, poison or injection, whatever, like, the stereotypes of storytelling would lead you to believe, why wasn't it told? Like, why keep it a secret? Why, you know?
Yeah, I think Eren worded it some way of, like, if he had knowledge about them that could help humanity, why wouldn't he have said?
Why wouldn't he have said, and then why would he want Eren to go back to it?
Yeah.
Is it incomplete?
It makes me even wonder how much of a, like, magic fix thing it would be. Like, there's actually this one thing that can kill them, but we've kept it a secret. Like, I don't know if that could actually be the case, because why would the dad keep that a secret?
So, I'm 100% reading too much into this, because I'm going off of what Eren said and the terminology that this translation and, like, used and said to us, being what the Titans really are. And when I'm trying to read into it, I'm reading into Eren saying that, and of course Eren doesn't know what's in the basement, so he could be way off by saying that. But the words used, what they really are, that's different than what could beat them, or that's different than where they come from. What they really are is very specific. Like, what they really are, like we said 2 episodes or 3 episodes ago, like, does every one of them have a person in the back of their neck? Like,
I keep thinking something like that, like maybe that's what they are, but then I'm like, but why would they cannibalize Eren in that form? Because Armin brought up the argument that they wanted to eat and prey upon
You're very right.
Eren in the same way.
So
like,
Eren's
I don't know,
different,
it's
obviously.
conflicting.
Do you think that the Titans that were eating Eren, or trying to eat Eren, would eat the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan?
Interesting.
Because they are also seemingly intelligent to the point that, like, they had running stances. Well, okay, I don't think I can say that for the Colossal one. All he did was kick it. The Armored Titan, when we saw him, seemed very, like, running stance, you know?
Yeah, but there were other abnormals that seemingly had more interesting, like, had also had things that were interesting and or smart-ish about them. I guess animalistically smart, like the one that could jump that killed Thomas.
Yeah.
Obviously the 2 that you brought up, like, look totally different, so of course they can be put in the same category next to Eren because of the fact that they are just drawn to aesthetically and physically and height-wise look
so
completely different.
Yeah.
And it also seems like they have weird abilities and more conscious abilities, like the one that appears by lightning and then breaks down the wall so the other ones can walk in.
It
like,
wasn't about appearing
there.
by lightning there, right? Because if Eren, there was lightning behind him when he just did what he did. So, this other person turned into this big colossal titan. That could have happened, but the fact that he disappeared within seconds, and there was the titan body didn't crumble the way that Eren's did. It disappeared.
Yeah,
that's weird. That's like for what other
How does something so big disappear, you know?
What happened there? Like obviously there's some supernatural ability type thing that is specific to some of them, or at least that one, right?
I mean, like, I guess the point I'm holding on to is, like, you're totally right. Something so big, how would it just appear and disappear like that in a blink of an eye? You know, it has to go somewhere. Does it shrink? Does it do something else?
If it shrunk, somebody would have,
like, I don't know.
Eren was there, you know? It disappeared.
It literally disappeared.
Eren's nose was bleeding, and he looked like death. It takes a physical toll on him, doing this.
Yeah.
How
Maybe
bad
just 'cause
does
he
it
hasn't
get?
mastered it.
Maybe, but do you think you could kill yourself over it? Over trying to transform like enough?
I mean, I could see, like, someone, if they don't have the constitution for it, or they're weaker physically, or they're sickly or something, maybe they wouldn't be able to, like, do that to their body. But also, it's just so weird, because it's not like his body's turning into it and growing. It's growing around him, and that's the thing that's, like, the most confusing to me, is, like, my first thought would have been that his body actually grows into this, but it just wraps around him and he's like riding it hooked to the spine. And I think that's the part that, like, has me the most confused about how it's almost like it becomes a suit of armor around him, and it's just, I'm not completely understanding how can he then control it, especially if he can rip out of it. How is it actually attached to him? I don't know. Still don't fully understand, which obviously makes sense. I probably should not understand yet exactly why or how.
Yeah. So I have it playing back right now on screen just to see, like, what words he used. Like, he said, next time I'll be stronger, a 15-meter class, like the ones that tore apart those titans. I'm looking for, like, the I don't know how to do it myself thing. Because
Yeah, there we go.
It's similar to the way you can't explain how you move your own arm. Back there, my only thought was stopping it. There was no in-show, like, flashback realization of him. I thought that there might be, like, if there was the exposition here, that he might have been like, oh, back then when I was in that Titan, I was bleeding, so maybe if I bleed now, it'll do it. It seemed like he knew what to do in an instant. Last episode, their memories will tell you how to use it. Do you think it's like an avatar state? Like something like came over him? I don't know, something else like controlled him for a second?
I just had this really gross thought, but I just feel like I need to say it. It's a weird theory. Their memories. He doesn't know why he knows how he did that, about biting his hand. What if the thing injected into him was like bodily from someone else?
Well, that's what I was...
Is that what you're thinking?
Well, like, but who else, right? So, like, would it be... last episode discussion, I said maybe it was people who were alive somehow when the Titans first came around, so they know more about the Titans that have been lost to history kind of thing.
Or erased.
Or, well, yeah, definitely erased, because we know the civilization does not want certain knowledge being circulated around, right? So...
Dad probably has some info that...
But then you'd have to ask, like, why that's the situation. When we see more of the details of him being, like, in the Titan, and, like, his eyes are moving around, you saw, like... It's like REM sleep almost. Like you can see his eyes moving when his eyelids are closed.
It's such a cool animation.
That mimicked the eyeballs, like where it was looking in Titan form. I'm so confused on like the consciousness of like how much he understands when he's in it. Like this time when he came out of it, he knows what he did to make it happen, but is he conscious in it?
Yeah. I don't think he knows for sure if he just bit his hand again, if it would happen again.
It's like the tendons are like connected to his face.
But then he can just rip them off with no like wounds on his face. That's what I am having trouble understanding.
Does it grow out of him or does it attach to him?
That's what confuses me about there being no like bodily harm to him when he rips out of it.
Yeah.
Either way, if it attaches itself to him to the point where he can control it and or it grows out of him, you'd think you'd still see cuts on his arms for where he rips it out.
Yeah, but what? Okay, I thought that might have been it, but no, it's just like connected to him and then he rips it out.
It looks like it's literally just surrounding him.
That being said, though, maybe we don't see cuts because he heals that quick. I mean, he healed his limbs before.
But can his body heal now outside of the form?
I don't know. But the Titan obviously immediately loses all consciousness and dies the second that he's detached from it, correct?
Did you have any, like, fear thoughts that maybe it would keep moving and keep acting?
Yeah.
Because I did.
Yeah,
I was like,
did.
Wait, if he rips out of it now while it's not, like, dead or disintegrating, is it going to start moving on its own? And I got really, like, nervous that was going to happen.
Me too. At that point, they're definitely dead, right? Like, they're...
Because they even drew it moving, but it's because it was collapsing.
Yeah.
So that's why it even, like, fed into my fear of it moving on its own after he ripped out of it.
Ugh, it moving. His eyes weren't fully closed. They were half closed,
it was like,
right?
Well,
and
no.
then now they're fully closed.
I was confused by how it was drawn before, and I was trying to figure out if his eyes were, like, rolled back in his head and we could see them open a little bit. Yeah, because you see the eyelash come down, swoop down. So I guess he closes his eyes after that. Then opens them really wide.
Yeah, so it's like when he's in control of the Titan, his eyes are like half open or rolled back, right?
Like he's asleep.
Yeah. Boulder.
Ooh, yeah.
We saw the boulder an episode or two ago. And after seeing it, I had no idea that it would come back into play because why the hell would it? It's a rock. Mm-hmm. It makes total sense in hindsight, right?
Yeah.
I am optimistic. He's the only one who could do it, right? We've been given narratively, we've been given a mission. He's the only one who could do it. He's made progress in the past 3 episodes of not knowing at all what happened to intentionally doing it, kind of, to what's the next step, right? I don't know how it would happen or how it's going to come to be, but I'm optimistic that it's going to be able to get done.
Agreed. But you just brought up something else that you were like, how quickly he came to realize that he turned into a Titan and that all of this crazy stuff is happening, and how he just accepted it and came up with his 2 options of plans and how he had to get to his dad's basement. There wasn't a moment of him coming out of that being like, oh my god, I hate myself for this, or I'm traumatized by this. It's like he immediately was like, okay, we need to act upon whatever this is. I can be useful. Armin, I trust you. Like,
yeah,
it's just so interesting that how
I mean, he's smart.
Quickly, and how that progresses of what could be seen as something that might throw him into a spiraling pit of despair, emotionally traumatizing him to the point where he's kind of trapped in his own thoughts. That could have happened to this character after this happening, but it didn't. He kind of jumped right into action, both in a time where he was unsure why he was doing it. It just happened. But then after he came out of it, he broke out of it. He consciously saw himself coming out of the neck of that thing. And he broke
out of the trance. And
I'm surprised he didn't start screaming. I would have started screaming.
So he broke, because he said that I wanted to stop that what, it's not a bullet, right? It's like a
cannonball.
Yeah. He said he wanted to, that's all he could think of. And then it says, so that body had no other function and rotted away after having served its purpose. So he willed this shit into existence for one reason, right? So he had no intention there of becoming a big Titan and walking around and escaping, right? He only thought, the only thing I have to do is protect this one thing. And then after this sentence, it says, this time I'll turn into something stronger, a 15-meter class, like the one that tore apart those Titans. Does that mean so he can, it's about just like what you want out of it? If he wanted to be crazy big, and like as big as the colossal one, could he, if he went into it with that mindset, could he do it? If he could, would it take a harder physical toll on him?
I don't know, but I'm just...
What's the limitation, bro?
You're so right, and like that feeds into the idea of like he never... As a character, like think about him. He hates Titans. He wants to kill all Titans.
Yeah.
He doesn't hate himself for being able to turn into a Titan. All he's thinking about is how can I use this new power to save humanity. And like another thing I want to bring up is which I think is a big part of this is his will. Can he actually turn into a bigger Titan? Is it all driven by his will, whatever he transforms into? I'm going to call him Commander Dot, because Dot is such a cute name. It's endearing.
It is.
And he says that it's not necessarily a matter of, like, can Eren transform and then move this boulder? It's will he do it? And I think that carries back to Eren's conversation with Mikasa and Armin here about his like, will, basically. He's saying he's going to do these things.
I'm a little confused because I thought that he was a 15-meter Titan. Is he saying a 15-meter class like the one that tore apart those Titans? Is he referring to himself?
I think so.
Okay, gotcha.
I think he's considering, maybe here by the language you would say that maybe he doesn't say the Titan is him, but that he turns into it, and so he doesn't say I am that 15-meter Titan. But I am going to turn into a Titan.
Are they all going to look different?
Class.
Are they all different ones?
I don't know. Maybe that he has like different
like
forms.
The one that tore
it's like Ben 10. He's going to just hit his watch and he's gonna turn into a different each Titan has like a different reason why they're like good for strategy, and he's gonna like
A swimming Titan, a flying Titan.
exactly.
I had brought up like literally 3 minutes ago that I was like, oh, could he do the colossal one? And then I looked at my notes and I have colossal Titan 60 meters, and I'm like, that's a big ask.
He's
like,
hoping to be another 15 meter, but
Yeah.
we're talking about a 60 meter here. Able to look over the 50-meter wall. Well, at least 15 was 15 able to move the boulder?
We don't know, right? He didn't move the boulder before.
I know, I'm just asking. Would his 15-meter form be able to move that boulder, or would he have to transform into something else?
I don't know. The hole looks big. That being said, I would have to do some like some crazy like analytical scaling to know how big that boulder was and how big other things in the show were.
Yeah.
Like, you know, those videos, it's like, I figured out how tall this streamer is because I've analyzed the average door height, and then I've compared the door height to their, you know, like, that's what would needed to be done to figure that out. I would assume yes, because Armin had thought it, right? He thought that, oh, if he, given Armin's knowledge, Armin doesn't know if he could do a bigger one, if he willed it. Armin knows what size he was before, so I would think that Armin thought if he was that size again, he could do it.
Okay, so then that brings me to another question. So do you think the language in this scene that's on the screen right now with Commander Dot and Eren and Armin's telling about this boulder plan, do you think the language of can Eren do this or will Eren do this? I couldn't figure out if they were speaking on will he in terms of physical strength or being 15 meters high, or will he because of awareness and consciousness to have his form move the boulder?
I have no reason to believe, or I have no reason to have thought the latter, what you just said. I wouldn't think that there would be a... You're right.
I couldn't tell which one they were mainly speaking on. Like, can he control himself enough to do an action that is set to him beforehand?
You're right. Because I immediately took it like, is the physical feat able to be done? But we have not, like, we've seen Eren's consciousness be the reason that he just turned into a bit of a Titan to save people, but we haven't seen consciousness inside of it to the point of this,
to that
you know,
point of doing a complete, because even if we heard him thinking things, I think last episode there were flashbacks to him transforming into the, I think, 15 meter, and he was thinking things, but that is different than like a cognitive, like critical thinking skills, remembering that he has to pick up this boulder and walk it over to that hole and put it there.
Yeah, so like there's degrees of Eren's Bruce Banner. What we know as him as a Titan is the Hulk. Is there that smart Hulk? Like, can he like think? You know, can he like comprehend? Can he critically think and have an objective wall in this form, or is he clouded by rage?
Is it more than just instinct or rage? Because obviously we could say that it was just instinct that he was fighting the Titans before.
Yeah,
and it was instinct that he would kill the one that had killed his friend. Instinct. But is there actual anything more than just instinctual action is what I am wondering, and what I could not tell if that's what they were also trying to ask him. It's like it was a loaded question, because I think it's like, will you be able to transform into something that will be able to do this task, and will you be able to do it once you're in that form?
I apologize for making shit pop culture comparisons and references all the time. It's the only way that I can try to figure this shit out, or try to comprehend
that's how
it.
we better understand things, is that we find comparisons.
Yeah, when after Commander Dot, thank you for that idea, so I don't have to say his name incorrectly anymore. Asks him, he looks back at the city and
world.
the land that they have, and it's very it's very clearly like this is like what's at stake. This is the motivation that you need. It's not about like if you think you can do it. This is what's at risk right now.
I actually loved that shot because it showed you how much land was actually among the two walls that are left.
I feel like we don't see it often. I feel like
we don't. I feel like we don't have a good gauge of how big it is.
Yeah, because every time I see it, I'm always like, oh, it's all just city, you know? Like, because it's all that I'm seeing. But in this shot, you get the vastness of it, and you get like the mountains and the wall. I love that it's not just a circle. It's like you can see where it like raises up over a mountain and down, you know, like
it makes you think that this really actually is the size of like a country.
Well, this where I'm like highlighting is basically where it's taking place, right? Or like this. Like it's like within one of these small circles in this huge like
Yeah.
So I think that's where I always mess up. I'm always like, oh, even though we're in this little area, like I'm forgetting all about that, you know?
And like even having that example of that lord that lived amongst this like flower field that extended for miles. It's just like I think by the little drawings we got through the first maybe like 7 episodes were very just kind of like 3 circles, these are walls, and it doesn't give you a gauge of actually how big the area is within them. But then you get like they had to travel to get Mikasa, and there are people that they've never met that are from mountain villages. So yes, I'm just really excited that they gave us this because I think it really just takes it home for me and helps me kind of actually realize that how many people could be in this population, how much land they have, how many cities they have. It's a country, basically.
Yeah. Ben Crazy Talk Time.
Oh, Ben Crazy Talk Time?
They had to have had either the luckiest building sequence, like when they first constructed these walls, or a ton of time to do it. Because if you look closely, if you look at the center of this, right, there is water going straight down, straight up, and then left, and then right. It's like a T, right?
Yeah,
and then
they picked this perfect place.
And then the only places that these like little like half circles are on the water lines, right? That's where we've been attacked.
They boated the people through it, yeah.
And that's where we've been attacked every time, right? So it could potentially be the amount of people there that is the reason for attack, or like trying to get like a water source. Granted, there's little ponds over here, but like, I don't know. That's interesting though. I don't think I've ever seen since we started watching the show that like that's kind of how it works.
The original people were smart with this location.
What a specific like location, right? Like it's so.
Think about it strategically too. You have multiple mountain ranges. You have multiple water sources for your people that are living there. It's kind of like a great environment to have kind of created this safe haven by the amount of like with the different terrain that's involved. There's obviously going to be different things to eat. Would
this be the like, so ideally in war or whatever I don't know shit, ideally you'd want to have high ground, right? Like and it seems their main point of civilization isn't on a mountaintop, you know, because you're fighting titans. You're going to see them coming from a distance all the time. If a titan's at the top of a mountain coming towards your town, you're going to see it faster possibly than if you lived on a cliff and it was like, you know, coming at you a different way. I wonder how deep it goes, like an explanation. I know there's 4 seasons, right? So like this seems so crazy. Granted, it could just be, oh, I'm making a map for this world that I'm writing, and this looks really cool. Because it does look really cool, but it's very specific that there's like literally a T. It's like a bullseye. It's like a dartboard.
I wonder if we'll ever hear accounts or history from the people that kind of founded this area. And why they picked this area specifically. kind of if they have any knowledge of any events that could be connected to the appearance of Titans. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely even some like secret texts that are obviously, if any text about the outside world is hidden and not allowed to be read, then I am sure there is more information regarding the appearance of these giant humanoid creatures. There has to be, and it must be kept under wraps. There has to be more texts.
That's
about
exciting me
the
so
earlier
much.
people.
I like in stories like this, or like Song of Ice and Fire kind of stuff, like this fictional world is built, but then they introduce secrets that most people don't know about this fictional world. And will they ever be found? Will I know more about these secrets in this fictional world? And I get so into it, and I want to know those. Like, I want to know the history of how this was built, who built it, and I'm most intrigued about the rest of the world. I know they said that, like, this is it, right? This is humanity. This is Earth's population. But I want to know more about it. I want more lore. And every time, sidebar, when I look at this picture and I see all the clouds covering it, it makes me feel like I'm in a video game and we haven't unlocked these areas yet. And I want to know what's there.
Oh, that's pretty funny. I get you on that. I just wrote down 2 more things. World building. I've watched a lot of shows that, you know, you follow the characters, you love the characters, but you never truly understand the environment that they're in, or the rules, regulations, the society that made the characters how they are and who they are to some degree. And I think that this show definitely has world building in it, and society building, and especially with the secrets and the books. And
Yeah.
I think that we're in for more, learning more about the before time, the before they settled here. The other thing I wrote is that I still am not thinking that all of humanity is within these walls. There has to have been people who have survived some other way that decided to not go here.
They'd have to have their own walls, because
That's what I'm
obviously
wondering. Are there
Titans
other cities? Are there other countries
with their own walls.
with their own wall, or maybe they live underground? We've like seen there's other shows who have societies, and even in real life there were ancient like civilizations that moved underground.
Yeah, that's true. And
Or within cliffs.
yeah, that's a good point. I could see it, because there's a perfect reason for why nobody's heard of that other society, or that nobody from that society's come to this one. It's because if you leave that area, you're screwed. You're fucked. You're dead. You know, because of the Titans. So I could definitely see it, and I really want there to be like that to be a thing. Man.
Ooh. Couldn't you totally see a random stranger turning up and walking to them from outside the walls, and people seeing them from up top of the walls? You couldn't,
because there's so many Titans everywhere. Like you,
but like a part of the wall where there isn't anyone, like any Titans.
Maybe
I could just see there being some stranger, and then they want to like keep him hush hush because they don't want the stranger to like tell all about the outside world or something. I don't know. I think I'm like really feeling the narrative that there's really shady stuff happening.
Oh, well, yes,
So
I completely
I'm
agree.
just going on different tangents of like ways that it could actually not be. I don't want to say not be as bad as they think it is, because obviously it's pretty terrifying, and 20% of the
Not be as
population is like
hopeless, yeah.
dead now. But I have a feeling that it's not as hopeless, and there might be people that know that, and
How'd
that's
they
just
fucking build this wall, bro. Like I was already like, oh my god, it took a long time for them to build this wall, and now I see this picture and you see how big it is.
took a really long time. So many people too. How did they keep the Titans away enough to freaking build these walls? I know they obviously started with the smaller one first, but the smaller one is still huge.
Are there more
More what?
walls?
Do you think they like started with a castle wall and then they like spanned out?
We have 3, right? And what if we started with like 10 and they've broken through over the course of history
That is so good.
3, and then hundreds of years pass, the civilization or society or the leaders don't want society to know the Titans have broken through previous wall, so then throughout like generations they kind of erase that history.
Ooh, I like that this end was actually like a way bigger area and had way more people in it. I like that idea. I also just realized that maybe to build this wall, they created those outer circles first. And so the people building the wall could run into those if a Titan was coming. And then they could come back out and keep building around into the circle and then run back in. And, you know?
I want to know, like, the first person who killed a Titan, how they figured it out, and how ODM gear was made and kind of stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it's such a niche way to kill one.
How long has did we ever like learn how long they've had this equipment to be able to fight the Titans? I don't remember them saying how long it's been.
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Wow. Well,
all we know, lack reproductive organs and how to kill them.
Yeah, really nothing else. Well, they disintegrate really quickly and they have a lot of heat.
Yeah.
Those are some other like random facts that I don't think really help you at all with like how to kill them or understand them.
How weird is it that granted, I can't trust history in the show, man, right? We can't trust it.
I don't think we can. I don't think we can trust
the history we've been given.
Completely.
How weird is it that in apparently all of history, even since the Titans have been around for however long, there has never been a colossal Titan or an armored Titan. Until now. Over a century ago they came, right?
Yeah. And just now, after all of that peace, things are getting crazy. I'm like, really? Maybe things were crazy before then, and it's happening again? Maybe it was hidden to keep things peaceful? I don't know.
See, I thought for a second, like, oh, what if things, like, have gotten crazier now in that sense? Because they somehow knew Aaron's dad was onto some shit, but then instantly disproved that because they've already gotten control of the area that Aaron's dad was working on.
Oh yeah, so if they wanted to destroy Aaron's dad's research, and that's why, then they would already have done that. And I could see their big hands trying to hold that key. It wouldn't work. Interesting. I do like that. I like bringing in Aaron's dad having supposedly some knowledge.
Where is he?
Yeah, where is he for 5 years? Does anyone know where he is? Is he in hiding?
Why would he be, you know?
Well, what if he did something really... What if when he injected Aaron, he like...
When was that? I cannot understand when that was. It was after the boat, right?
After the boat.
And then before they woke up.
Before they woke up. So basically once they got inside the safe area, it must have happened. Maybe they had to travel more than just, like, they went through the boat, but maybe there was some other traveling that needed to be done to get to... Yeah, because, think about it. Maybe they rode the boat, and then they had to go through, like, the woods or something.
Why would they have to go through the woods, though?
To get to, like, a certain city where they were going to house all of these new people.
Maybe.
There might have been, like, a select area that they were going to house. A building, an area that they were going to house all of these people that just fled. I mean, by the picture, you'd think they could ride the boat all the way up to the next little, like, semicircle.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe maybe it was a different area that they needed to keep the people in that they had set and
Did we see Mikasa there? In the flashback?
No. Was Mikasa in the flashback?
I'm sorry, but this is the last thing I promise. Like I need to know that, right? Because for some reason I have like what do they call it? The Mandela effect of Mikasa being in the flashback.
I mean, like, imagination is a powerful thing. But I don't know. I did think that it was odd that she wouldn't have known that Eren went off somewhere where she wasn't and didn't know what happened to him. Like, it was odd that she didn't seem to know anything.
I agree. And, like, if she didn't know anything, either she was given something to also forget, or, like, when would it have happened, you know? Okay, I'm trying to pull it up. I believe it's episode 2, right?
Okay, yeah.
Armor Titan's so fucking weird looking, bro.
We didn't get to see him again, right? He didn't
No.
appear.
He also has
recently.
glowy eyes, though.
Yeah.
God, I love glowy things.
Oh, is that him? No.
That's not the flashback. This is the flashback.
Okay, here we go.
Fucking...
So we're riding through the woods. Don't know why. We're
Horse
going
carriage.
somewhere. Is Eren inside the carriage, or is the dad running towards them? Oh yeah, he's running towards them because he told them to be safe as he's crying. And then he finds them.
What? That's a big question.
Yeah,
like how
how?
the fuck?
And then why are they back in the woods if
There
they
was
were
fi-
supposed to
okay.
be in a city?
We're going deep, man. We're going deep. This happened.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Fire?
Flames. Maybe he has a torch set up so he could see.
Stop it, Dad. There's a level of consciousness.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do? You see the trees. The fire is still there. After Mom died, you lost it. There must have been like...
Did they have more interaction with the dad then?
That's what it seems to be, right?
Thinking that maybe he went crazy?
Like a day?
Maybe like that's how... Maybe that's what happened. The dad appeared to them. Things were normal. And then he got Eren away from everyone else without it seeming suspicious.
Would
and without
Armin
Mikasa
not
coming
know
with.
either? Yeah, maybe without seeming suspicious, right? Let me go, Dad. This is for your sake. I have not forgotten the key. Don't worry, bro. Okay, so Mikasa wasn't there.
Mm.
Mikasa wasn't there, but she was there right when he woke up and had no knowledge of like anything happening to him, right?
You were
I guess
tossing and turning.
the way that like we went from them leaving on the water on the boat to this scene.
I feel like I saw my dad. Wait, that can't be. Okay, so he didn't spend some time with them where she wouldn't have been suspicious. Somehow he snuck Eren away without Mikasa seeing the dad. Somehow.
Was that sussy when Mikasa said that can't be? It was only a dream. You know? Looks away. Or
Either
maybe
she
was just
knows
heard,
that
like,
she's lying to him, or...
I don't think she'd do that, right?
Or somehow the dad came by and got Eren away without anyone else seeing him.
It just makes you feel like
crazy.
time didn't pass, right?
Mm-hmm. It's funny seeing these scenes again, because I was not an Eren fan within episode 1 and 2. I was like, he needs to... calm down a little bit. He's going to get everyone into trouble. He is going to get everyone killed. And then, he started to grow on me more and more each episode. But then, obviously, when he, after Thomas died by that frog-like titan, then I was again, Eren, no, you need to, think before you act, because sometimes other people's lives are at stake, not just your own. But I think he had a slow grow on me as a character.
I agree. I think after the episode that he fought Annie and then what she told him, he kind of reversed it on Jean. I like was like, oh, this character's pretty cool. Like he's able to learn new information, critically like think about it himself, and then change and grow from it. You know,
And have admiration. He's
Yeah.
not cocky necessarily. Like he's able to admit if someone else has a skill that he doesn't have. Like he was fully willing to ask for help with using the ODM gear
Yeah.
and get people's advice, which I think is really admirable and a great character trait.
we have to
he's
remember
not,
we
like,
met him when he was a
super
kid,
cocky.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
we did. We met him as a kid.
I was hating on a kid, and then 3 years later, I
well,
started
when
to
you
like him
say
more.
it like that, it makes it sound really horrible.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
Interesting.
How did the armor titan get in? Did he run through it?
I thought
Because I thought the colossal one kicked it in.
maybe the armored titan ran in through the hole, but I thought the armored titan was really tall too. So I'm not sure. Did we really see him like appear?
The armor titan ran through the drawbridge kind of thing.
Yeah, but did we see him appear? Because I don't really have like an exact memory of the armored titan appearing.
I felt like he just showed up.
I feel like he just walked around a corner and was there.
Yeah.
Also interesting. You would think if he's so different and odd and giant, he would have had a big showy appearance just like the Colossal did. But there's chaos going on.
We don't know how tall he is, right? Well, we definitely were told how tall he is, but I didn't write it down in this book.
I feel like the buildings could help you with that. Because I feel like a lot of the Titans are walking amongst the buildings where maybe the top of their head reaches the roof.
He's nowhere
or
close
less,
to
but
the Colossal Titan.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say maybe maybe there wasn't a showy kind of way he was shown appearing because they're already in chaos and Titans have already infiltrated. And that's why it didn't get any attention. But yeah, look, like normal Titans maybe make it to
Well, they
the
all
roof
differ.
line. Yeah, but like the tallest maybe is like to the roof line. But he was like here to the roof line. And then he just... Okay, so yeah, we still don't
know anything.
That's a huge question, though. How did the dad appear, and how was he able to do this without anyone else seeing him? Is like my main question right now. Well, it's not my main question. Obviously, there are a lot of questions.
I like that. I felt so connected to Aaron this episode because he was like, "What the fuck's going on? Why did my dad do this shit?" And I'm like, "Thank you. Why did he do this shit? We're on the same page, bro."
I mean, I was fully like, I thought that was accurate. I thought his feelings there made complete sense for him to have some form of like anger, resentment towards his father, almost not even for turning him into this, but for possibly having knowledge that could help that he's not sharing.
Which makes me like Aaron even more. We didn't see Levi or Petra this episode.
Yeah, I feel like this episode was an Armin episode.
Oh, yes it was.
It was let's show Armin that he has value he's able to save Eren. Think about it. Armin saved Mikasa and Eren in this instance because Mikasa was gonna sacrifice her life in any way, shape, or form for Eren, whether it was staying there with him as the cannons fired or running away with him towards the basement. So Armin saved all of them there, and
is it
yes.
fucked up? I want an alternate reality to see what would have happened if they went with plan 1. You know what I mean? Just like a 10-second clip of like them trying to escape and then dying, and then it's like Armin had to do it. That was the only way.
Return back the clock. Okay, we're gonna go with option 2.
Armin was awesome, and I'm glad I can end this discussion with the bookend of talking about this episode making me love Armin.
Yeah. Wasn't he the character that before we started watching the show, some people in the comments were saying we'd probably like Armin?
I had seen, back when I used to read comments in Demon Slayer, they said that if I ever watched AOT and I liked Zenitsu, then we would like Armin maybe. And then I was like, okay, this point I cannot read comments anymore because spoilers.
Yeah.
But
spoilers do be spoiling things. What it means.
Speaking of spoiling things, bro, I can't like shop at Zoomies or anything anymore. Attack on Titan's everywhere.
We literally don't. We refuse to like. I look actually. If you go into certain stores, the show will be kind of on the collar of whatever the shirt is, and I will purposefully not, open up the folded shirt if it says Attack on Titan, because I'm like, I don't want to see anything that I don't know and be spoiled by a freaking $29 t-shirt.
I'm thankful that it's not as like in your face as Dragon Ball Z or Super, because it's like, why is Goku have blue hair? Like, and you see like a big like something like that.
Like another form.
Yeah, usually I just see the big words, but if I see the big words Attack on Titan, I'm like, no.
Like, think about it this way. Like, you just brought up a prime example. If and when we saw that form, that Titan, the pomegranate Titan, we would have had no freaking clue or idea that Eren would have been related to it in some way.
They don't look alike.
They don't look alike. They don't have the same hair or, like, anything. It's literally a Titan with hair. A lot of cool hair. A lot of them don't have cool hair. So we would have had no connection. We would have just been like, oh, there's a Titan that looks like that in this show. So I guess that's a good example of something that wouldn't have necessarily spoiled it for us.
Yeah, but like, I'm crazy. Like, if my friends want to like have seen a show that I want to see, and they're like, oh, can I just tell you like one of the characters' names? I'm like, no. They're like, that's not a spoiler. We're not telling you anything of, like, what they do or what they're like. And I'm like, don't tell me anything. I need to be like,
we're
clean.
Like very opposite with that. Obviously I don't really do it anymore, but you think of everything as a spoiler. I will read normally, not obviously for channel videos, we'll read descriptions of episodes before watching them.
I won't do that.
And the titles and all that. I just love to know what's gonna happen before I like read or watch something.
You don't like being surprised by like this awful or crazy moment.
This has been a giant test for me in this channel, because it has completely changed how I experience different media, and it's been very different to not have any idea of something that's gonna happen because I'm not reading the episode description beforehand. It's been weird. I feel like I'm going in it with blind, which I guess is probably
it's
better.
It's the best way.
I don't know why. I think it's just like I love to know things. I like to be prepared for things. I'm like, am I going to cry in this episode? I need to know prior.
Yeah, but if you don't know prior and you go in blind, I think the cry is a better cry, and it hits you harder and it hits you better.
So obviously it's better in this situation now that I don't do that. But when I watch stuff by myself, I'm like, I just want to know if I'm gonna cry, you know?
I feel like you're in the mood for that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a big, like, I pick what I watch based on my mood. And if I like read a description that says something relatively sad or traumatic happening to the character, I'm like, I'm not in the mood for that right now. I'm gonna go pick something slice of life, you know? So maybe that's one of the reasons is I cater to my mood when I pick what to watch. But I don't do that now, because that would literally spoil what's gonna happen, and I should not do that.
It's so cool to like be able to like, because usually when I watch something with you, either you've already seen it or you do a similar thing. So like, I've never really watched something with you that you have no idea going on, so it's really cool through the channel I've got to do that with you.
I always know something. You're so right about that. That is so true.
Yeah.
I either have you watch something I've already seen, or I already know like a bunch of things about it.
You're like, do you want to watch Sherlock Gnomes? I've already seen it a couple times, but you know, like, like you're always privy to the information with shows that we watch, but through the channel, that's not the case. I do
repeat shows a lot. I do watch a lot of things.
Well, I do too. Like, I mean, I've watched Jujutsu Kaisen probably like 6 times, 8 times. I don't even know, man. Can you say you're rewatching a series? Okay, are you half rewatching a series if you watch it with reactors, and then like if you do that twice, does it equal one actual rewatch? What, like, you know what I mean? Because I watched Jujutsu Kaisen probably twice, and then I've watched reactions of it like a billion times, you know? All right, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, I just have like one question.
Okay.
For you, what is the rewatchability of this show. I feel like people that are watching these videos are probably up to date with the show, and I do wonder, has the show aged really well? There's a lot of stuff that has not aged well. Has this aged well? What's the rewatchability? Is it still fun even though you know everything that's gonna happen?
That's a really good point, because like I can imagine it being fun for reactions, right?
Yeah.
But like if you want to rewatch a show, like I wonder what I'll feel like trying to go back after we finish the series. Like, oh, I already know that this is gonna happen 3 episodes from now, so like that surprise isn't
Right.
like.
I mean, it probably does have rewatchability because it seemingly is very well written at the moment. So there's still emotional enjoyment and nostalgic enjoyment that could be the case
Yeah.
if you already know everything. But I am curious, what is the rewatchability? Is there someone who's watched this show, 15 times? Like, I'd be curious to know that.
Good question.
Are we good?
Yeah, I think my throat hurts. I've talked too much.
I wonder how long that discussion was.
I don't know, man. But thank you guys so much for sticking through it if you did. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.